It's like a WWE
I know,
fake-out.
right?
It's like,
I like it.
and
Hey,
I'm
guys.
so excited. And this is, of course, a man who needs no introduction, so I'm not going to introduce him.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Thanks for being here. Man.
Some time with Walt here for a little while as the rest of our cast comes in here in a moment or two.
I'm so happy that this is not the last Ranger Stop. This is exciting. I'm like, yay! I love this convention. Like to have all my friends here and have all you guys here, and you guys support us so well. You give us such love. It's amazing. I wouldn't want that to stop.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Walter, since we're talking conventions just briefly, what was your first convention experience as a? You used to do.
I used to do car shows.
Yeah, I was gonna say before conventions were even a big hero thing, you still did those.
Yeah, shortly after Rangers, after I left the Power Rangers, Austin, Tweety, and myself had a manager, and she started booking us at car shows. So, have you ever been to a car show? They're huge.
I went to one to see you.
Oh, you?
Yeah. and
that.
Tweed, but I missed Tweed, which sucked because obviously it sucked. But
And we weren't there together. We were individual.
yeah, because that's it. You were but I had missed her, and I saw you, and
let me tell you, at that point, this is like 1995. The show was at its top of fame, and the line was out the door, around the block twice, and people waited 4 hours in the sun to get in to come and see, which was crazy. And we took photos with Polaroid cameras. And it was $5 for a photo. It was a little bit different. That was like $5 in 1995. And it was crazy. I would sign autographs. There were pre-made autographs. I would sign, or I think they were already pre-signed, and I would initial it or something like that, because it was impossible to write that many autographs for that many people in that much time. And I would get 15-minute breaks. I learned the power of the power nap. Yes. So, in a 15-minute break, I would go back into a small room by myself. I would have my own little room, and I would lay on the floor, and I put my legs up on the chair. All the blood would rush from my feet and my legs to my heart and my brain. And 15 minutes later, I'd get up like, oh, okay, let's go. And I was ready. And I kept that. Somebody told me about that back when I was in those days. I maintained that practice. So anytime you see me at a convention, after the convention's over, know that Walter's going to go get his power nap. It's going to take about 45 minutes. What happens is, after about 45 minutes, the blood leaves your legs and your feet, and your legs become uncomfortable. So you wake up. You're like, oh, that feels weird. Either you want to turn over or you wake up, and if I usually wake up, and I'm like, all right, now I'm ready. So, just so you know, anybody needs some power nap advice, there you go.
I love it. It's the secret to good success. So I remember the very first Power Morphicon in 2007 was the first Power Rangers-centric convention. Did you guys think that was something like you and Steve?
Hey, we got some more folks in the building.
Steve
is here. It's packed.
Oh my gosh,
let's go. Catherine Sutherland, the beautiful.
Good morning. So glad you're here. Steve, welcome.
These are some
Catherine, welcome. We got a little once and always party going here at this point. Yeah, that's fun.
I am ready to go to Miami.
I'm always
ready to go. He's going to Miami.
Yeah, you're right. You're down there.
Throw me the luggage, bro. I want to go. So throw me your luggage. I want to go.
Yo.
Yeah. That's right.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show, to the party, guys. Yeah, I was about to ask about the hats. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. What's your name? Happy birthday, dear
Zach.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
We should go on tour now.
That's
The birthday tour, let's go.
I didn't know it was going to happen. That's good.
Mighty Morphin the musical.
The Mighty Morphin musical.
Mighty Morphin the musical.
We'll call it the Once and Always Never Again tour.
Once and always and never again.
The Once and Never Again.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Steve got jokes. Steve always has jokes. Hey, ain't nobody got more for time for that.
Anybody got more time for that?
Ain't nobody got more fun time for that. Yeah. What's up back there? How you doing?
What's Steve?
What's Steve?
Which Steve?
Both Steves. Him and me. But he's the guy. We all got jokes. We all got jokes. What are you talking about? Yeah, Steve's. Well, it's good to have everybody here. Everybody's coming in. It's our last day of what is not the last year. We were just talking to everybody. Steve, I don't know if you want to talk about it at all now or you want to wait, but do you have anything to weigh in on the new experience here? I'm excited to have you. We're all excited for the future.
Well, I mean, you know, I feel like, you know, I didn't want to see this show go away. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's just too awesome. So, you know, I was fortunate enough to meet Brett, who's going to be the new guy taking over everything, and you know, I saw the amazing work he did with the conventions that he's built from the ground up, and I just knew that he could lend that expertise to this to keep this thing going. And, you know, I just made the introduction. That's really all that I did. And, you know, they worked everything out together and, you know, keep it going. So, you know, obviously, you know, everyone that was involved with it is still going to have involvement because they're going to be around. You know, it's not like they're like, peace, we're out of here. You know, they're going to be coming around. They'll be around for all that. The only thing that I'm probably going to help do is, you know, the Ranger side of it is never going to change. But what we want to do is augment the pop side. And we want to start bringing, like, a multitude of pop culture guests to come with as well too. So we're gonna get wrestlers, we're gonna get anime people, we're gonna get Star Wars people, we're gonna get, you know, everything. You know, we're gonna get 1, 2, 3 people from every kind of genre there as well. So we can really expand that side. The hopes with it is being that we get the people who weren't necessarily Ranger fans, right, to come because they're going to see the pop culture side of it. Then they get to mesh with all how awesome you guys are. They get to see that whole side of it. And now we get a whole crop of new Power Ranger fans that we weren't exposed to it as much before because they hadn't been here before. You know what I mean? So that's sort of the concept behind it. And we're just going to basically, you know, take the great thing that we have and we're just going to make another part of it just bigger and more featured as well so that we could just get more people here and it'll just be more fun, you know?
I think they should have a room where they show an episode of every Ranger cast, like in a room where they just got it going, like every one episode from every cast, every show, like one after the other. That would be cool because I've never seen all the Rangers, but we got Nakia Burise. Welcome. What's up?
That's so beautiful.
How was lunch? Was it good? Was it good?
You remind me
You on YouTube. Jason Narvy, you're all so beautiful.
Awesome.
And happy Father's Day to you.
Oh, happy Father's Day, Jason, and to all the fathers. Walter, happy Father's Day to you. We just talked about your wonderful daughters.
Happy Father's Day.
And happy Father's Day to all the
My
fathers
sister's
out
coming.
there.
Hi, sis. I'm
Happy
on
Father's
the
Day,
panel
Cap.
Oh, yeah.
She said, happy Father's Day. Thank you, sister. I love you too. I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. Family first, always. That's such a cool thing. I love having you guys here. I hope it's been a good time. We were just talking about
this is how we wanted to spend our Father's Days with you.
Yeah, that's really cool, yeah. You see your kids all the time, right? No, that's cool. Man, I'm just glad that we get to spend this time together. We were talking about how we were talking about Brett and Steve was talking about the new introduction, but I want to, as we're doing the panel, have everybody just one more time, please say thank you to Nakia. Because for us, this is day 3, maybe day 4, maybe day 5 of the con. This is her day 790 of this particular con, and it never got a chance to stop. She's done an amazing, she has an amazing 2 new comic book projects coming out, and I couldn't be more proud of you, and to call you a friend and a colleague and whatever else I can call you. You're just a wonderful person. So thank you for the time, and thank you for these times, because...
There's a question there in the back.
Let's go ahead and start with that.
Well, it's not really like a question, but more like sort of thank you to Nakia specifically. I want to say thank you for the weekend passes back in MomoCon. Like this is my very first time being at Power Rangers convention. I haven't had like a great time.
Hug her for you. I just gave her a hug. If you want me to hug, I can hug her too. Later.
Feel a little side hug. There it is. Do we have any questions already? I know you probably have some while you're out there and about. So feel free. Yeah, Tim, hey.
since I'm a huge fan, I know all the history, giving you back so many memories. But for now, since it's Father's Day, how was it working with the actors that played your fathers? Walter and Jason had their parents on Parents Day, returned an old friend.
So the dude they had played Skull's dad, huge dude, like total like biker looking dude, that had on his I kid you not, he had a tattoo of Jesus on the cross doing a push-up.
Like this.
Yeah, they're good. Jesus is all like jacked, like, and he like says the F word right next to like, Jesus said, you know, like it was pretty. He was a tough dude, that bogey, yeah.
The guy that played my father, I think he said 2 lines. But he's been famous in LA since Power Rangers as Zach's dad, yeah. He has events. He has events. Come and hang out, bring all the kids down, come meet Zach's dad. It's like,
That's great. Oh, I have like a little cool, interesting, like sort of Father's Day story. So, my daughter, she's 26, right? And last week I was at a Comic-Con in Spokane, Washington, and so she lives in Northern California. So I said, why don't you pop up to the convention in Washington and you can come work my table with me. She's never worked at like a convention with me before or anything like that. And it was extra special because later on that night we did a screening of the MMPR movie, the 30th anniversary of the movie. And so she has never seen the movie. She had never seen the movie from '95. So her first time watching it, she watched it on the big screen in a movie theater. Yeah, with me. Yeah, with me. And then I did a little Q&A panel afterwards and stuff, and at the theater right there. Yeah, it was awesome, man. So that was cool. It was my little early Father's Day special thing. Anyway, that was cool.
The guy who played Catherine's dad was seen in her flashback of her swimming team, watching her dive off the board.
That's right. I never met them because they worked with
The little kids.
Yeah, they were.
It was the younger
yeah.
actors, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a flashback.
And they had one with your parents too, right? With the Borg.
Mine were in a cave.
Yeah.
Mine were in a cave, and was it the end of Turbo or end of Zeo? End of Zeo. Yeah. They were great. They were great people. They seemed nice. No, I do remember them. I do remember.
I still hear it once in a while from the woman who played my mom, now that I think about it. I know we're talking Father's Day and stuff, but Gloria, she was in she was in the spa with Johnny.
Oh.
Yeah. But I still hear from her. What's that?
She was in the spa
Yeah,
with Johnny?
so-
Explain that.
I had directed, but never really completed a short film that was supposed to be like a 1960s spy, East German spy TV show called Otto the the secret Asian man. Because Johnny Bond is half German, half Asian, but like all his other hitmen were like Steve Cardenas was one of them, Cy Roscoe was one of them, and like you remember this? And so when Johnny gets hired to take out the mark, there's a woman sitting in a spa. I will give you 700 marks for one dead husband. And she gives him, the glossy headshot of the husband he's supposed to kill. And pans over in the spa, and there's Johnny in a complete suit and glasses, like, I'll kill him.
Karan Ashley!
I'll be able to see
Let's go.
Yeah, Jason, if I can ask, you don't have to answer this. Is that the movie where you guys were like going around LA secretly filming shots and then running when people came to tell you couldn't film them?
Oh no, that was Extreme Heist, and we were running around the streets of that was hilarious. So I did a film with Johnny and Koichi, okay? And we shot it. We were shooting in Vegas, and we had 2 directors on them. Makoto, obviously they're Japanese. Obviously they speak English better than I do, right? But they have thick accents, and so when the cops start coming over, they're like, oh shit, we're on the permit. And he's like, and Makoto's like, don't worry, I have this. And the cop's like, y'all can't be out here shooting. Y'all got a permit? And Makoto, playing into his accent, goes, we shoot a movie. The cop's like, no, I see that, sir, I see that. But do you have a permit? And Makoto goes, as though, he speaks as though he speaks no English. He goes, movie. And the cop's like, And meanwhile, we're getting this shot as quickly as we can. And we're kind of going, thank you very much, officer. All right, we can go now, guys.
The shot latest welcome, come on up. Give it up. Here we go. Let's put you in the family. No, of course, it's all about the logo. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad everybody was in it. Yeah. Trickle in when we can. Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any other audience questions up there? Right up in the front row.
For the Power Rangers Once and Always, was it like a special, was it like a special or something, a special show, a special episode or something, a special reunion?
It was the 30th year anniversary for Once and Always. Yeah, it was the 30-year anniversary show movie, I guess, and we wondered if there was a possibility they were gonna continue on and do more with it, but because when they spoke to me, they said we're saving the sets, so they're excited about it. But then it looks like they shut down all the production in New Zealand, so it looks like it's not gonna. Like it was a one-time only thing. But I don't know, it gave them ideas.
Yeah.
So, once and only, exactly.
But we are trying to shoot it on the streets, so if you can help us distract the cops, we're going to do as much as we can.
Yeah. But did you enjoy Once and Always?
Oh, yes, I loved it. It got emotional too with the ending.
Yeah, no, obviously. I will say, it was 28 years between the time I started this, 30 years between the time I started the show and it took me 28 years to come back to it. So that was wild for me.
And he did the flip, that was him.
And I did do the flip. I'm doing it right now. That's right.
That's what's up. Oh no, yeah.
He had his roller and his massage guns.
I did. I had everything. Exactly. No more insurance.
Yeah, we don't need any more claims.
I will tell you this though. When I left the show, when I left Mighty Morphin, I didn't know I was leaving the show. I thought I want to negotiate a contract. I'll be back. We'll do the movie. We'll do a few more episodes, and then we'll probably move on. But that didn't happen. So when we did the movie Once and Always, when it came to the end, and they said, "All right, that's a wrap on Walter Jones," I became so emotional because it was the closure I needed. I never had that wrap of this thing that I started and had been around for 30 years, and so I mean, even right now.
Wow, no, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
The producers, when we had our first read through of the script, were really elevating Walter and David, and I feel like that's kind of why they were doing that for you.
Well deserved. Well deserved too, yeah. But everyone, so we really made it back to it. It was pretty cool to have you. Wish you could have been there, Nakia. At least they put your action figure in there, so it looked like you were in it. Isn't that great? Yeah. I want to talk for just a second about the Alien Rangers season, and most of you got some time off during that little hiatus break, aside from, of course, you, Sean, who stepped into the show. How old were you when the show was on?
I was a very senior, 12 years old. 12 years old.
Practically grown up?
Yeah.
Right?
But
Full grown.
Yes.
it was a unique thing, though. But from your perspective, it was hardly, there was very little Power Rangers stuff, right? You did a lot of it in one place. You had those command center scenes, I suppose, and then switched back to Nakia.
Right.
But during the time, how long was that entire arc of a process for you?
For me, I think it was only about a week that I was filming out of school on location, which was, thousands of miles away in Africa by way of Valencia, California. They did an amazing job. And that lion, he was the friendliest thing ever. He appeared when I saw him with you guys on the screen for the first time. But Yeah, it was a lot. So my particular filming was on location, practically there. My main scene in the command center was that scene that you see. I was in them streets roughing it for you guys. Tumbleweeds and all. It was cold. I got some bug bites for you guys. Yeah. And you're working.
Well, I'm glad you got that experience though too.
Me
and,
too.
what do you do now? How are you acting? Tell us about your career.
My career, my acting career, or
Anything
my
about your life that you would like to share?
Oh my goodness. Do we really want transparency?
It's Sunday at the con. I think that's all we can give.
I am a children's social worker. I have been doing that for 8 years. Life after college, adulting. Again, it's rough in those streets. Okay, so we're just figuring out life, doing things as best as we can. I think as humans, that's what we're all trying to do. I would, if I did segue back into acting, I'd probably do more behind the scenes things as opposed to in front of the camera. I think these guys do such a good job in front of the camera. They don't need me. I can go behind the scenes for them and just maybe do some voice work. I appreciate that, Karen. I appreciate that. So I'm open to it, but I'm just kind of doing the normal people stuff.
That's good, but you seem, as long as you're in a good, happy place and you have a really rewarding job, it sounds like something fulfilling for people. Difficult, perhaps.
What he said. That's what it is.
Oh, man.
But you guys rejuvenate me. So these
really
breaks for the con,
yeah.
this is what it's all about.
That's it. I love that.
Definitely worth it. The love goes both ways.
I love that. Let's go back to the audience for some questions. Let's start with the Black Ranger.
Now we got questions.
Hey, I got a question for Walter.
What up, dog?
What was your thoughts on the Mighty Morphin movie where they cast him as Zach, but he looked like Adam?
Well, you know, the shows, we've had three decades of the show, right? So back in '93, when the Black Ranger was the Black Ranger, and it was not really a big deal. Not a lot of people made a big deal. But then the next generation was like, hey, that's weird. The Black Ranger is black, and the Asian Ranger, the Yellow Ranger is Asian, and the Red Ranger he's Indian, which is not true. And the Blue Ranger, they start making stuff up. And the Green Ranger, he's amphibian, something is weird. Exactly. So it got weird, and then I think, production was like, okay, we don't want to make that mistake again, so let's make the Blue Ranger, the Black Ranger Asian, and we can make the Yellow Ranger something else, whatever. But so it wasn't a big deal. African American. Karen, and no, not that movie. You're talking about the 2017 movie. Yes. Yeah, we're talking about that's what you're talking about, right? Yes. The 2017 movie. The last one. Latina. She's Latina. That's right. I can Afro-Latina. Okay. Yeah. Did I like the movie? I did. I just wish they would have put some hip hop keto in it.
That's what it's all about.
Apparently, Louis told me that he tried to produce something. He did some stuff on top of the train, but they didn't keep it in the film. So.
Oh, man.
I have a question actually about the 2017 thing.
Were you asked to be in it or anything?
It was Jason and Amy Jo.
Not even your action figure like me?
I'm honestly surprised, Nakia, that they didn't try to spin that too. You're like, see, you're represented. You're welcome.
I didn't understand. There were a few things that I felt about Once and Always. I really enjoyed watching it, but I really felt like Paul and Jason should have been in that.
Yes.
They were in from the beginning for so many seasons.
Okay, in the original draft, Ann Knapp did the first draft, and she put Vulcan Skull in there.
Yeah.
Next time I saw her, the first thing she said is, dude, I'm sorry, you guys were in it.
Yeah.
I did the script, you guys were definitely there, and then somebody else took it.
Well,
Boo!
Ronnie and I, we were almost not in it, and
Like I put it in, like I really went off, and then it worked out for me and Johnny, but
Yeah.
I was because I just thought, I was like, this is the one time they can get the band back together.
Yeah.
Whoever's available, make it happen.
But Samaya always, they suck at legacy. That's why people are like, what could you do what Marvel did? Yeah, exactly, because they could give a shit about legacy. Ever. Like, they missed the boat on several occasions. And they might put something in the show, and then like, when they did a callback, whether it's a character or a choice, and when they went back to it, they didn't continue any sort of continuity with that. They would drop it and start again, and drop it and start again, as though they never read the Bible to the series. You know. So.
Yeah. I know. I
Thank
tell
you
people
for
all the time,
understanding.
I'm like, if you guys are looking for nostalgia from them, it's never gonna happen unless you demand it.
It totally is about the fans. More like other places, like, oh, it's the fans that keep it going. Well, no. In this case, it really is. You guys.
And I mean, and if you think about it, Trini should have had a love letter 20 years ago. That was literally the most shocking thing that ever happened, like, period. Like, I just remember being like, what? Like, it was just so shocking. And so, I know they've done certain things, and I was like, gosh. So when we found out that it was a love letter to Trini, that was my biggest argument. Because I was like, look, I literally stepped into her shoes. Like, the same boots. Like, we had the same costume. Like, I get it, y'all want us to shoot in LA, but this is wrong. Like, we should be there. I would be honored to be in an episode that's all about her. Like, I just think it's crazy. So like, we all said something, but I'm so glad it worked out. And then at the time, we didn't know it was going to be a love letter to Jason too. So it just ended up being wonderful. But yeah,
it was right that you guys were there.
I was hoping they would have been there and like they would have been Rangers, and it would have been like or something cool. Like it was like we knew Boca Skull would finally make it.
They should have brought out the purple and orange one.
Jason, did you see any of Anne's script that had you guys, what you were supposed to be doing, or did you just know what happened?
I did not see it.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you had any idea what it might have been like.
She had it, and I think she was going to let me see it if she was allowed to, but she wasn't allowed to yet. I forget.
No, several versions of the script.
Just be fun to see what they might have you guys
But
do.
it was a beautiful story. Like I truly love the relationship between Walter and Ben. I thought that was so cool. It was just so great, and it really like we didn't see the end. We didn't know what they were gonna do when we lost Jason. So it was like when they set up a private screening at Netflix, and when we saw it, it was just like, oh, it couldn't have been any more perfect. Like just the song, the moment, it was just really cool. And we're very proud of you. Yeah.
It was a great moment. Let's go right up in the front row, right here.
Since we're talking about the fans, everyone knows that the majority of the fan base is grown or getting there. You know, we grew up with it. And I'm a writer, and I'm kind of flirting with the idea of writing an hour-long, like sort of drama-esque version of Power Rangers. How receptive do you think that the fans would be? And if it would be receptive well, what classic Power Ranger element do you think would have to be brought into the show to sort of just encompass the whole field?
As a 1 hour, as a movie is standalone, or it's over?
No, just like a 1 hour drama type format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit, right? 'Cause, I mean, you saw with the comic book, they've made it to where it's edgy,
Right.
and yet it's still kid appropriate. So, I mean, it's possible. Like, it's all possible. And even when they did the really, like, dark one, like, where everybody loved it. 1 million people watched it in a day. So I think that there's room for that.
Yeah.
You know, and I encourage you, if you do that. But then also flip it and go make something original. Because, you know, you're a writer, do it. Yeah.
And that beginning
Call us and hire us. Get funded, make sure you call us.
I mean, you have to have the element of Power Rangers that made Power Rangers what it was. You gotta have a little bit of camp in there. You gotta have a bit of that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, it's okay to be a little edgier too. But you need to have a mix of both. You know, I think maybe that might have been the issue with the 2017 movie. Is the story was about teenagers with attitude, not teenagers with angst. You know what I mean? Like, attitude doesn't mean that you're rebels. It just means that you're different. I mean, Walter explains it better
No,
than
I mean, yeah, I'd say it was, they were teenagers with attitude, but they were delinquent, which is not the message we want to give other people. Like, It's not find a magic rock and you become a Power Ranger. It's be confident that you are who you are and confident in your ability. That's what gives you the attitude. It's like, oh, you can't tell me nothing because I know what I'm doing. I'm courageous. I'm strong.
It was what Billy was in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
He was the most popular character.
Right. Right.
I just want to say, I think we should stop this juvenile delinquent bashing.
Questions? We'll go right here and then in the very back next. We'll go right here and then in front of the back.
Okay, this is a question to everybody. Is there any other Power Ranger series you guys would love to pop back on? Like come back and be on like Mystic Force or SPD?
All of them. They should have paid us and we would have stayed.
I feel like I would have liked to have been in Super Ninja Steel. Oh wait.
I like Time Force.
She was in Super Ninja Steel
I was in Super Ninja. Yeah, Time Force. I love the whole time travel aspect, and I think I loved Jen, Aaron's character.
I didn't really watch the other episodes, but I think Time Force would be my choice as well. I love the fact that Jason Narvy got to play two characters, and as an actor, that's something I would love to do. So.
And he got paid for two characters too.
I didn't get a chance to watch all of the other seasons either. But the ones that I did, it was definitely Time Force. I loved the capes in Mystic Force. It's so cool. I like
no
their
capes,
suits.
darling. No capes.
No capes at the moment. Good job.
It's disrespectful.
I think you guys would know. I would have loved to come back in Zio and do my share of 10 episodes because she got shrunk again. But that's my bias too. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I think it would have been neat if they turned the Rangers into kids, but then they still had the Ranger powers, so they had to deal with it, but you still got to be there.
Next level. How many wanted to see the kids in a suit?
Yeah.
Come on.
I think VR Troopers got to do that. Of course, the kids didn't wear the suits because it was
Beetleborgs.
Right?
Beetleborgs, of course. Well, yeah, but there was one episode of VR Troopers where they returned into children, is what I mean. Of course, the Beetleborgs, I didn't. Yeah, let's go very far in the back in the hat. He's had his hand up like very far in the back. Yeah, right there.
So I have three, let's see, I have divided into three. So this one for one. Did you both know that you was in Forever?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You and Walters.
Yeah,
I think
We did voices for it.
I kind of figured because one of them was, I know one of them sounds familiar. And another thing was, any thoughts?
Not bad. Well, let's go right in front of that row in the white.
Oh, yeah, they're all kinds of costumes.
Yeah.
From your different seasons, who was notoriously on set on time? And who was
Notoriously on time? No, none of them.
and who was notoriously late, like every time?
All of them.
We were all good.
That is not true, man. We were there at 5:30 every morning.
Yeah.
Every morning. Every one of us.
Yeah. But of course, if you didn't, it's because what they would do is they would call you. Back then, they would page you. Then they would call your house, and then they would call. If they didn't get you, they would keep calling every number they had. Literally, they'd call your parents' house. They'd call your former roommates. They'd call your boyfriend, your girlfriend, everybody that's ever known you. So everybody freaking hates you if you're 5 minutes late because they're calling you at 5:30 a.m.
They called us in to work the day they had the big earthquake in California. The freeways had fallen and collapsed on top of each other, and they still called us in to go to work.
Yep.
It was like, they were like, can you come in? It was like 10 o'clock. Are you coming in to work? I was like, we had an earthquake. They're like, you can't get around. That's how it's crazy. The buildings are not stable, and they made us go down there. It took me like 2 hours to get there. And then we stood out in the parking lot because they didn't give them permission to let us go in the building. And eventually they said, oh, let's go.
Dude, I remember Paulie and I went up there too. much later in the day, because it must have taken us 3 or 4 hours to get through that.
Was it, at that time, was it still in Culver City, or was it?
It was in Culver City.
It was the month it moved to Valencia.
No, it was in Culver City.
No,
Yeah.
no, the Northridge earthquake.
Let's see this. I'm just saying.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because we had to go over the 10, which is where the freeways are broken.
No, the freeway broke.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
It was the 14, it was the 14 car.
Yes.
And the police guy,
And they
there was a police officer that drove off the bridge. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, they dedicated that exchange to him when they rebuilt it. I'm like, I'm sure he did not want his name on the thing that killed him.
I'm sure I'm just getting older.
The whole section of 118 has dropped.
Yeah, just blam.
Awesome.
I got robbed at gunpoint. I got robbed again, twice now.
Oh my God.
No, but I got robbed at gunpoint, and I called the set to let them know, and they were like, oh, we're really sorry. So you're coming in, we have a...
Well, but Kat, you were new at that point. Everyone on the set had got robbed at gunpoint. Like Paul Schreiber at some point.
It's old hat, sweetheart, okay?
I got into a car accident and did not have a car. They were like, okay, so we're gonna have somebody come pick you up to make sure you're there on time tomorrow. I woke up, I had fallen asleep driving on the freeway, which if you guys are ever tired, please roll down your window, call somebody. You know, I thought I was a superhero, which I was, but not really. And I had hit my head on the steering wheel, and when I woke up, my nose was bleeding, and I had pushed a car down the freeway. They were okay. We didn't have cell phones at the time, so I don't know how anybody, by the time I woke up, the police were already there, the ambulance were already there. The person didn't die, as far as I know, thank God. But yeah, there was like, okay, but you going to work tomorrow, right? Yeah, I'll be there. Guess so.
Yeah, it's a little makeup.
Oh man. Let's go to the Ninja Turtle dad right there. Yep.
Ninja Turtle dad and Ninja Turtle dad.
Happy Father's Day!
To all the fathers.
I wanted to say, my name is Marlon. Thank you to everybody up there. Like, you know, I grew up with you. These are my daughters. Everybody's like, hey, you know, what do they watch? You know, Barney and I. No, we're watching Irish.
As you should.
I had 2 things. First thing I wanted to say was, in accordance to the way the new RangerStop and how that's going to be, have you guys ever reached out to the Beetleborgs?
Oh, the big actors?
People have brought that up to us. It just never worked out. I mean, you know, we can definitely bring it up to the new owners.
I feel like it would be good, like we know, obviously VR Troopers are starting to do their little reunion together now, so we can bring those guys in. We'll bring the VR Troopers guys in, we'll make the Masked Rider guy in.
Oh, that'd be really neat.
Just get a little bit of that element as well too, you know what I mean? Like for sure.
Perhaps
It'd be cool. They bring it. They also get a couple of people from Japan to come as well too. That kind of thing as well.
It's always been a thought. It's just like, you know, it's always a budget.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's always going to come down to that kind of stuff. But you know, I feel like we're going to take a page out of Karan and Nakia's book in that regard of like trying to listen to the fans about all that stuff that that you guys want to see. You know?
Apparently. So Steve must be part owner.
That's why.
Steve must be part of the new.
That's why he wore the suit yesterday.
That's why the deal happened.
Yeah.
And so, you know, him and Brett are really good friends. So, I mean, literally, you know, it's always been a conversation. And we just want you guys to have a show that you would love. So it's just a matter of... Yeah, thank you. It's always just a matter of figuring it out budget-wise.
Okay.
Well, it is called RangerStop&Pop for a reason. So it was Rangers and the pop side as well. So that's what we were trying to bring every year. This year, because it was our final year as owners, and we didn't lie to you guys, it was our final year. If we did not find somebody to sell to, then it would have been our final year. But we wanted to, listened to you guys and really, really wanted it to continue on for all of you. I mean, this has meant so much to so many people, and what a blessing that, you know, Steve had spoken to Brett, and then we also, as I had mentioned the other day, we had another offer, but we chose to go with Brett because I just think that he could bring the vision, he can continue the legacy that we've started and even make it even better, so.
He understood the feeling.
He understood, yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. We've got time for a couple of more questions. We got right over there. Yes? Yeah, that's right. Walter, thanks. That's a wrap for Walter Jones. Thank you, my friend. There you go. Always good to see you, sir.
I have a question. Did you know that you guys rock?
That's a good one. Right behind you, and then you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both of you. First.
Recently, I had the opportunity to, earlier today, I bought this. I'm very excited to read the stories that you Nakia, and Steve have written.
Yeah. And Walter.
And Walter's in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's there.
That's awesome.
Are there any other projects that any of the rest of you are working on right now that you feel like strongly about?
So I have an audio. I just got done doing an audiobook. Paulie and I did cameos on this audiobook. They got in a full cast of characters for it, and they asked Paulie and I to do one. It's kind of about the fan scene, and so Paulie and I just completed that. And then Johnny and I are finishing completion on Spades, which full-length motion picture, which we did about a year ago, 2 years ago. And we're this close to it being out of post finally. No. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yes.
Yes. Clap! No,
Yeah.
the movie that I wrote, produced, and started and funded, whatever, came out in March. It's called Back to Bridgewood. It's a comedy, inspirational comedy, and there are 2 Power Rangers in it. Jason Font plays my doctor, and Serena Vincent plays a TV host. But it's family friendly. You can watch it. It's streaming on Apple, Amazon, in demand, basically everything but Tubi and Netflix. And then in addition to the comic book series that, the comic book story that I got a chance to write, I'm writing a new series called The Never Never Kids. It's another action-adventure superhero story that has nothing to do with Power Rangers, but it has everything to do with fun. So if you come by my table, I'll give you one of the flyers, and then you can check out the website and have a couple of other things that we're working on. So thank you guys just for your support. Because a lot of you guys have come and you've watched the movie. This gentleman had also, he actually made me cry because he painted the Yellow Ranger, but on the back of the portrait, he wrote this line that I wrote inside of the movie that said, always look up to where your strength comes from. And he wrote it in the back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like literally, like every time I watch it, I cry. I don't know why, but there's something about that little quote that I wrote that just, I don't know, and he had no idea, and he wrote it on the back of that, and I cried, so yeah.
That's cool. All right, we got time for, I think, a couple of more questions, because it's almost 2:45, we want to get everybody back out there. I want to ask everybody, though, who wants to answer this question. Your time on the show was obviously, in some cases, brief, but you're there a while ago. What today, after being at this show over 30 years after the show started, here in front of the audience, doing this all the time, what would you tell yourself the day before you stepped onto the set for the first time? You've already got the role, but what do you tell yourself the day before you become Skull for the first time?
Don't do it.
Oh, man.
Lower your expectations.
That's a sad one.
I don't know. I don't know that I would. Oh,
You don't really mean it.
I know. I'm so loud.
That's not what I meant, Karen.
I'm loud. I know I'm loud. I don't know that I would tell myself anything because I felt like Power Rangers is one of those gigs that it was the good, the bad, the ugly. And when you have that kind of situation, you learn so much about yourself You learn so much about the industry. We learned so much about, you know, just everything. Like, we were literally thrown in the deep end of the pool, and we had to learn how to swim instantly. So it's one of those things where if you have that kind of experience, you don't want to change it because you became who you are today because of that. Like, literally, my work ethic is based so much on, I mean, we worked so hard. And it was like you said, you could have a car wreck and they'd be like, so what time are you going to be here? Like, they didn't, there was like no sympathy, no breaks. It was just work, 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 work. But at the end of the day, we inherited all of you. Like, we've literally traveled the world and we've seen things and done things. Like, I've done more travel with these guys than I've done with my own family. Like, we've literally been in the coolest places. We got the coolest stories. So I don't know that I'd want to change or tell myself anything, because if I changed it, it would probably
Be different.
Yeah, it would be different, and I needed all of those lessons. I mean, you think about it, we were young. I was 18, graduated high school. I'd only been out of high school 2 months. So I needed as many lessons as I could get, and we got it.
Yeah. Well done.
Outside of Power Rangers, there would have been a few things I would tell
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't change a thing that happened.
I think just because of a business sense, I would have probably, business-wise, thinking back, what I know now, when I was on the show, I would have probably did things a little bit differently with my agents and trying to look for endorsement deals while I'm still on the show. Like, things that would have maybe, maybe I wouldn't have become a substitute teacher, but then I needed the substitute teacher because then I wrote Back to Brentwood.
It all
comes full circle. So yeah, what she said was right. Yeah,
Very good
yeah,
point.
yeah.
I would just say not to be complacent, because I think when you're in it, like we're filming so much and you're in it and you're in this kind of bubble, and I feel like sometimes I took it for granted a little bit. So that's one thing I would say.
It was
Feel
so
like
fast.
It's always going to be there, and then it ended, and I was like, you know, I wasn't a citizen or anything. I was completely dependent on Saban for everything. So I didn't know what I was going to do, like how I'm going to support myself. Do I have to go back to Australia? All of that. Just that I felt like just didn't think it was going to end. I don't know.
Yeah.
And everything comes to an end. But
And it happened so fast. Like, it was like, we were here, we were there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like so fast. It was like, I wish someone would have told me stop and smell the roses. Like, really, like, take it in.
Soak it in.
And, you know, and I don't know that I did that because we were just so tired and working so hard. You did. Steve lived his best life. Steve. Yeah, well, you know what I admire that about you, because that's something you can't teach people, you know? Like,
I would say, because my perspective is a little bit different, they were getting out of high school and I was peaking in middle school. So at 12, and it's only that I can reflect on it now, that I would say, get ready. Because if I don't change anything with my life, I still wasn't expecting you guys really to dig me up after 30 years and be like, there's been some level of impact, you know, or quote my lines that even I can't remember and say how impactful this little fake African scene did something for your life, you know, and it was so meaningful how they thought to bridge a crossover at that time and use that moment, you know, which is so pivotal, and even more pivotal to us now based on what's gone on in society and the world, racially and culturally. But back then, 30 years ago, so just get ready for wherever life takes you, you know? So I would have been more in that moment. But I'm a kid, you know? But hindsight, even we can still do that now. Just get ready to ride the waves of wherever life is trying to take us and be ready to soak up that stuff. Because the legacy for specifically Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is deep. Even I'm up here, but I see what these people have done for me. This legacy, we're nothing without you. And the following for 3 decades, 4 decades is surreal and phenomenal. God bless you guys. Don't stop. Whatever they want to do, keep supporting. But it's really, really a blessing to be a part of.
That's beautiful. I think that's a pretty good way to end for everybody here today, my friends. Please give it up for the amazing cast of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Power Rangers Zeo! Now, friends, thank you so much for everything today. And I want everybody to know that Mark Richardson and Nikki are going to be back in here for a 3 o'clock panel too to talk a little bit more about some really cool stuff on the show. So it's not over yet. Stay put if you want to. But please, one last time, show some love for our friends.